You want to have free English, French, and job searching videos to increase your skills to immigrate to Canada. Every day, you will have videos with articles, grammar rules, exercises, and tips for you to use during your busy day and improve your English, French, and your job searching skills. It is only up to you, and you alone. By hitting the subscribe button and the like and bell icons, you can have more examples of several accents like American, British, French, and especially Canadian. You will get exercises and tips to prepare yourself for the international exams required to immigrate to Canada. You will have templates and tips for your job searching. By taking all this, you will increase your chances to settle in Canada. Check our website link in the description below this video. You will have these videos in a partnership with Canada Smart Mind. You are going to see here 1. A text to improve your pronunciation. 2. A grammar rule to know how to say your things. 3. An exercise to consolidate your knowledge. You will learn how to speak and listen to English and French. That is why it's very important to click on the like and bell icons and on the subscribe button to receive our videos. Here you improve your skills to listen, read, write, and speak. In order to get a higher score on international tests, to improve your career abilities, and to immigrate to Canada or any other English or French-speaking country, pay close attention to this video to find out how. 1. Text, script, and the audio file.
The World Bank halted aid to Sudan on Wednesday after the military's capture of power from the transitional government. Meanwhile, state oil company workers and doctors in Sudan said on Wednesday they were joining protests against the military takeover. Thousands of people have joined street demonstrations since Monday's takeover, led by military chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. Several people have been killed in fighting with security forces. A group of community organizations in the capital Khartoum has announced plans for more protests Saturday. They said it would be a march of millions. The announcement by the World Bank comes after Sudan's transitional government had gained about $2 billion in financing in March. I am greatly concerned by recent events in Sudan, and I fear the dramatic impact this can have on the country's social and economic recovery and development, World Bank President David Malpass said in a statement from Washington. In one area of Khartoum on Wednesday, a Reuters reporter saw soldiers and armed people in civilian clothes removing barriers built by protesters. A few hundred meters away, young people built more barriers just minutes later. One of them said, "We want civilian rule. We won't get tired." Burhan on Tuesday defended the military's takeover. He said he removed the government to avoid civil war. Burhan has dismissed the civilian military committee that had been set up to create a process for democratic elections. The committee took over after long-ruling dictator Omar al-Bashir was overthrown in April 2019. The military allowed the transitional government's prime minister, Abdallah Hamdok, and his wife to return home Tuesday night. Workers at state oil company Sudapet on Wednesday came out against the military takeover. "We announce we are joining the civil disobedience in support of the people's decision backing the civil democratic transformation and until this demand is achieved," Sudapet said in a statement. The Sudanese Professionals Association, a group of workers' unions, released the message. Doctors also said they would go on strike. "As we promised and previously announced, we would enter a general strike across Sudan in the event of a coup. We are keeping to our word and timing completely," said the Unified Doctors Office, which is made up of different doctors' unions. The doctors' unions were an early and important group behind the 2019 uprising that brought down Bashir. Other striking groups, including oil and central bank workers, could bring the country's economy to a halt. Civilian groups have accused the military of planning for weeks to take power. Burhan spoke Tuesday to reporters for the first time since the takeover. He said the military had no choice but to remove the government because politicians were turning people against the military. He also said the military's action was not a coup. Events in Sudan are similar to several other Arab countries where the military tightened its control following uprisings. Sudan is Africa's third largest country. Willow Berridge is a Sudan expert at Newcastle University in Britain. She said it would be difficult for Burhan and the army to stop street protests. Berridge noted the high number of protest committees in many areas of Khartoum. My greatest fear is that he will fall back even further on the only legitimacy he can depend on: violence. It is a very serious risk, Berridge said. Burhan has close ties to countries that worked to contain Islamist influence and lessen the impact of the 2011 Arab Spring uprisings in places like the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. Western countries have denounced the takeover in Sudan, which has a history of military coups. But many Arab countries have only called for all groups involved to remain peaceful. Jonas Horner is with the International Crisis Group. He said the Sudanese military misunderstands the will on the street quite to their detriment. He added that the military is being poorly advised by other Arab nations more supportive of the coup. The African Union has suspended Sudan's participation in all activities until the Civilian Military Committee is reestablished. I'm Dan Novak.
Now, you had an example of pronunciation. I wish I could say some nice words and cool you down, but here is the thing. You have to go deep into your practice to develop your skills to talk. Now that you will have this video, smash the subscribe button and the like and bell icons to get all the videos from us we post here. One video every day of English, French, and on the Canadian job market. We teach you the basics of pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary in English and French. Check our website to enroll in our programs. In the description you have the link. For your $9.80 by month of a recurring payment, you will have all this also. We teach you how to get a job in Canada. The good news is that you can have all these videos for free if you hit the subscribe button and the like and bell icons. We wish to be your partner on your journey. Now, you will have this. 2 Grammar rule explanation.
Ear training. What is the IPA and what does it stand for? The IPA is a part of the listening training. IPA stands for International Phonetic Alphabet. It is useful for teaching and learning English. The word phonetic relates to the sounds, pronunciation, of speech. The IPA chart uses symbols to represent the different sounds. Some of the symbols are from the Greek and Latin alphabet. When you check a word in most British dictionaries, you can look at the pronunciation of the combined consonants and vowels by checking the symbols. For example, the pronunciation for the word coat is written as kissed. You need to be familiar with the IPA chart to understand the pronunciation. Many modern American dictionaries do not follow the IPA, but offer pronunciation tips using the English Roman alphabet. Who invented the IPA? The IPA was invented by an organization under the same abbreviation. The International Phonetic Association was formed in Paris in 1886. It consisted of a group of language teachers who were looking for a way to teach the pronunciation of foreign languages. They wanted to create a universal alphabet to represent all of the sounds that could be made in all languages. Who uses the IPA? Foreign language teachers and students use the IPA. Others who use the IPA include speech pathologists, linguists, singers, actors, therapists, and translators. What is the difference between a short and a long vowel? English vowels: A, E, I, O, U, can be pronounced with different lengths and sounds. The difference between short and long vowels has to do with the placement of the tongue and the position of the vowel in a word. Teachers often remind students that long vowels usually say their names. Is pronunciation important? Speaking clearly is important in order to maximize communication. Having an accent that is the same as another person is not important unless it is required for a specific job. Many students have an unrealistic goal to speak native English. Only native speakers can speak native English. Even then, there are numerous dialects and accents, and every English speaker has a unique voice. The goal should always be to speak in a clear way in order to be understood. How can I type out the IPA phonetic symbols? The website IPA.org has a handy keyboard for typing out the phonetic symbols. Be aware that you need to use an Unicode font in your document, email or web page, otherwise the phonemic symbols may not appear correctly. What is the difference between voiced and unvoiced, voiceless? In English speech, consonant sounds can be classified as voiced or voiceless. Voiced sounds are those in which the vocal cords vibrate. Unvoiced sounds do not create a vibration. You can feel the vibration by holding a finger to your upper neck as you speak. For example, the first sound in pan is voiceless and in ban it is voiced. What are the slashes used for in pronunciation transcription? Single phonemes are placed between slashes, for example P. What are the square brackets used for in pronunciation transcription? Square brackets are used to write phonetic transcriptions. For example, the word cat is transcribed as keet. It uses the short vowel sound AE. What are angle brackets used for in pronunciation transcription? Angle brackets are sometimes used to write out a full word when it is being referenced in a pronunciation explanation. Why doesn't my dictionary use the IPA? Not all dictionaries use the IPA because it does require a bit of work to learn the symbols. Some dictionaries try to make it easier by using normal English letters that are commonly associated with sounds. American dictionaries typically do this, however, by trying to simplify the system. It is no longer a universal notation. Should I study British or American pronunciation? British and American pronunciation are very distinct. Even within the UK and within America, or Canada or Australia, there are various accents. It is more important that you can understand the various accents when listening to them, rather than trying to replicate a certain one when speaking. If you are unable to travel, expose yourself to a variety of accents via television, radio, and internet in order to maximize communication skills in English. What is the ASCII phonetic alphabet? ASCII is the American Standard Code for Information Interchange, typically the standard letters and characters that we see on most computer keyboards. Some people prefer to use the basic buttons on a keyboard to easily transcribe all of the IPA symbols and diacritics. Various efforts have been made to create alternatives to the IPA for the purposes of indicating pronunciation via a computer keyboard.
Remember to go to the description and check the links for Canadian companies searching for employees outside of Canada. Also, you have a link to contact us. Since you can only count on yourself, make your subscription and hit the like and bell icons to receive our latest videos. 3. Exercise explanation.
Words in this story: disobedience, refusal or failure to obey rules, laws, etc. Transformation, a complete or major change in someone's or something's appearance, form, etc. Coup, a sudden attempt by a small group of people to take over the government, usually through violence. Uprising, a usually violent effort by many people to change the government or leader of a country. Legitimate, real, accepted, or official. Detriment, something that will cause damage or injury to something or someone.
In the description you have our contacts. To know more about the remote programs and materials that you can have, tell us your questions and pretty soon, you will see what we have to say. Leave your comments about this video, and we will know what you like and what we can do to better help you. Thank you for watching this video, and be sure that we will be with you in this journey to turn your dreams into reality. Keep up there and write your story. I'll see you at the next one.